Hi everyone, myself Vamsi Krishna. In this session, I'm going to discuss about Maven interview question and answers, which will be asked part of DevOps interview. And I am planning other interview question and answers as well, but this specific session I will focus on Maven. And I have come up with couple of question and answers which were commonly asked in all the interviews, and I have gathered the answer also. Mostly the answers will be doc will be prepared from referring the documentation and using Google. If at all you find any difference in the answers or something which is like irrelevant, you can please feel free to drop a comment out. Let us get started with one question each. The first question is, how will you create a Maven project command line, right? Basically, everybody will be using the Maven project which is created by someone. But if at all, if somebody asks, right, how will you create a Maven project from command line? This is the syntax. You need to mention MVN architecture type :generate -d group ID is nothing but project packaging, artifact ID is nothing but project name, archetype artifact ID is nothing but Maven template, interactive mode false. You just need to have a Maven installation with you. Wherever you have Maven installed already, you can simply copy this command and execute this. Let me copy this command, and you can go to your server where Maven is installed in Linux machine, or in Windows also you can execute this command. Let me show you mvn version. I have Maven installed already. mvn version. Maven is installed already, and then you can use this command and you can create a Maven project from command line. This is the command. It will create a project. If you see, Maven project is created. In the similar way, if you want to create another project, again same. What I'm just giving is, I'm just mentioning MVN archetype :generate -d group ID. Group ID is nothing but organization name or company name. Artifact ID is nothing but project name. Archetype artifact ID is nothing but whether you are creating a standalone application or web application. We have seen standalone application. If you want, you can change this to web application as well. Let me show you this with web application. This also is creating standalone application. This has created second project, Java project 1, Java project 2. This is how we need to create a Maven project from command line. Next, second question, how will you list out the build, source and test source directory for POM in your Maven project? Basically, this is also common question. If you have a Maven project with you, where is the Java code written? Where are the test cases for the Java code written? And where is the build directory? Right? These are the three things which you need to keep in mind. Build directory is nothing but target. Whenever you do mvn some command, right? mvn package or some command, you'll get a target directory. And second thing, let us go to our Java project which we created just now, Java project 1. And if you observe here, we have src. Go into src, and we have main. Let me just show the tree structure, that will be easier. You can just see the tree structure. Okay, you can come back and you can see tree structure of our project. You can see tree structure of our project. If you observe the tree structure, just observe whatever I explained, right? Source is nothing but src main Java. You can clearly see here in src main Java your source code is written. And next, text is nothing but src main test. You can observe that also here. SRC test Java, right? Source is nothing but SRC main Java. Test is nothing but SRC test Java. This is the test directory, right? These two are common. What is your source directory and what is your test directory? I just showed here, right? SRC main Java is for source directory. SRC test Java is for test cases. And whenever you build the project, you will get the target directory. This is for build directory. Next, another question. What information does our pom.xml contains? Right? Whenever you create a Maven project, you will see pom.xml. Let me quickly show that pom.xml. I in fact have a IntelliJ setup so that I can show the pom.xml in a more readable format, right? This is our pom.xml. If you observe our pom.xml, we have project dependencies, right? You can see the project dependencies. These are project dependencies. We have dependency tag. And then we have plugins. You can see the plugins as well. These are plugins. And next, you can see goals. Goals by default that is not present in pom.xml. If you want, you can create build profiles, project version. This is the project version. You can see the project version. This is project version. And then you have developers mailing list also you can create. Basically, pom.xml contains project identifiers, properties, dependencies, and then plugins. These are the high level components which a pom.xml contains. Next, what is Maven lifecycle phases, right? We have different Maven lifecycle phases. We'll see one by one. First lifecycle is validate. Validate basically will check the correctness of the project. Let's say I'll change something here, or in this project, wherever you want, you can change it here. I can change here something. I'll make change. Okay, I'll make some mistake here. I'll try to make something. I'll remove this. I'll try to remove posing artifact ID. And now we'll try to do. Let me open the command prompt here. I'll try to do mvn validate. Mvn validate will tell us whether the project is correct or not. Just you can say mvn validate. I'm using IntelliJ ID just for what I can say, like better visualization purpose. You can do these changes from command line as well. Now, if you do mvn validate, what it will do, it will check the correctness of the project, and it is saying the build could not read project one, and it is saying non-parsable form must be same as start tag, right? Artifact ID, it is saying there is no closing tag. That means validate tag is really checking for the correctness of the project. Let us put those changes back. I'll put these changes back. We have seen how validate is working. And next, once you have seen validate tag, next thing is we have a compile tag, right? We can run now mvn compile. Mvn compile skill, what it checks, it will compile the provided source code into binary artifacts. See, it compiled into binary artifacts. Now, next thing, we have test. Basically, it will execute unit test. You can see whenever I run mvn test, it will run unit test cases as well. See, it is running test cases also. Now it will run the test case. See, it is running one test case. Test cases run, right? Test run 1, failures are 0, errors are 0. Tests are run, right? One test case run. If you do mvn package will compile your code into archive file. You can do mvn package, right? Likewise, each of the phases has its own purpose, right? Package basically what it will do, it will packages compiled code into archive file. It can be jar or var. If you see, it is generating jar. If you go into target directory, you can see a jar file, right? We have the jar file. Perfect. Install and deploy. I have other questions. I'll clearly explain how to use install and deploy. Basically, these are different life cycle phases. Next, once we have done with life cycle phases, there is one more interview question which people will ask commonly. What are the 3 build life cycles, right? We have 3 build life cycles. The first one is default, the next one is clean, another one is site. Default life cycle handles your project deployment, and clean life cycle, it will clean up artifacts that are created by prior builds, and site life cycle handles the creation of your project site documentation. Let's say if you want to see clean, you can simply say mvn clean. It will create the artifacts whatever generated by previous builds. Now if you see, mvn clean will delete the target directory completely. See, clean life cycle will clear the target directory completely. These are 3 different life cycles of Maven. These are build life cycles of Maven. Next, what exactly happens when you run mvn install? This is also very important question. Most of the people will ask this question. What exactly happens when we run mvn install command is, mvn install command will run the install plugin which is used in the install phase to add artifacts to the local repository. For example, if you take MySQL connector Java dependency, what it does is, it will use this group ID, artifact ID and version, and it will download that dependency and it will keep it in your local repository. Let me show you practically. I will add MySQL connector, whatever I showed, I will add it here. Here you can add that. And the version we are going to use is 8.0.21. You can see 8.0.21 is the MySQL dependency. Just focus only on this dependency. And whenever we give mvn install, if you just give mvn install, what happens is, it will use the install plugin used in the install phase and it will add artifacts to our local repository. The local repository will be of this hierarchy: group ID, artifact ID and version. In this case, the group ID is MySQL. We need to go to local repository which is in users directory. Go to C users and username is this, and go to .m2 repository. This is the local repository folder, and in this local repository folder, with your group ID, artifact ID and version, this is version, with your group ID, artifact ID and version, it will create a jar downloading from the mvnrepository.com. You can just give mvn install, and whenever we give mvn install, as I said, with group ID, artifact ID and version, it will create a proper location of that artifact. Go here. What is the group ID? Group ID is MySQL. Open MySQL folder. This is group ID. And then artifact ID is nothing but MySQL connector Java. Open MySQL connector Java. and version is 8.0.21, and this is the executable jar file. This is what happens when we do MVN install. Okay, it can be same for any jar, not only for MySQL. I just took an example for MySQL. Any dependency which you add in pond.xml, MVN install will use group ID, artifact ID, and version, and it will determine the proper location of the artifact within the local repository. Next. Next question is, why Maven takes much time for first execution, and from second execution it will take less time? Why this takes less time? Because as I just showed MVN install, what exactly happens is, whatever the dependencies that are mentioned, it will download all the dependencies needed to your machine in the configured local repository. Usually it will be user folder /.m2 repository. Just now I showed, right? This will be the local repository. When we do MVN execution, right, what happens is, it will download all the dependencies, right? Lot of dependencies will be there for a same project. It will download all the dependencies, whatever are needed, and it will keep in this directory. Depending on how many dependencies your project, it has to download all plus the needed dependencies for Maven plugin itself. That is the reason for the first time it takes more time. From the second time onwards, all the dependencies will already be there and it won't take much time, right? Second thing. Next, how many types of Maven repositories are there, right? In previous question, MVN install and why Maven is taking lot of time, we have seen a repository that is called local repository. Maven, there are three types of repositories. One is local, another one is central, another one is remote. Local repository is nothing but it's a folder location that is present on your machine. It is created when you run Maven command for the first time. Maven repository is a location where you can find all your project dependencies, library, jars, plugins, etc. Central is nothing but it is a repository provided by Maven community. Let me show you the Maven Central repository. This is Maven Central repository. mvenrepository.com is nothing but Maven Central repository. From here you can download any group artifact ID and you can mention the categories and you can download it. For suppose if you want MySQL, you can mention MySQL connector and you can add this dependency. This is MySQL connector Java. You can add the dependency from here. If you want Postgres, you can add PostgreSQL and you can do the search and you can copy the dependency and add it. This is central repository. Third one is nothing but remote repository. Sometimes Maven will not be able to find a dependency in local repository, and as well as it won't find it on the central repository as well. In that case, Maven provides the idea of remote repository, which is nothing but developer's own custom repository. For reference purpose, I took Nexus. You can see this. This is a this is remote repository. This is the remote repository. If you observe, here we have lot of repositories. Developers can create their own repository and they can store the artifacts here and they can download it from here or they can upload it to here. These are the three types of repositories, and the order is, it will look in local repository. If it is present in local repository, it won't go to central or remote. If it is not available in local repository, then it will go for Maven Central repository. And if it is not available in Maven Central repository, it will look in remote repository, which is intranet, if available. If it is available, it will look here as well. This is the dependency order. Whenever we give any dependency, first it will look in local repository and then it will go to central repository. If it is not present in both the places, it will go and look in your remote repository. These are the three types of Maven repository. Next, what is the use of distribution management element in Maven? In Maven, as I said, there are a lot of elements And distribution management element specifies where this project will get to a remote repository when it is deployed. Basically, whenever you deploy your Maven project, distribution management will decide where it has to get deployed. Okay, this is the use of distribution management in Maven. And next, what are the settings you need to do before running MVN deploy? There are 3 steps which we need to provide before doing MVN deploy. The first step is we need to give the repository location in the distribution management tag, just we discussed some time back. And second thing, we need to set the credentials in the global settings.xml. Third thing is we need to execute MVN deploy. And if you see, this is how we need to add the distribution management tag. Let me add the distribution management tag, whatever the project I created here. Go to one of the project, and in the pom.xml, we need to add distribution management tag. Let me copy distribution management tag. You can just type distribution management in pom.xml. You can go for default website itself. And you can look here, distribution management. This is the tag, distribution management tag. And in the distribution management tag, you can mention both the repositories, snapshot and release. I'll explain in detail what is snapshot and release. For time being, distribution management tag, repository and snapshot repository. In repository, we just need to mention ID, name and URL. We don't need other things. In the snapshot repository also, we need to mention ID, name and URL. The first thing, whenever we want to do MVN deploy, the first thing we need to mention is we need to give the repository location in distribution management tag. Go to Nexus. Here you have Maven snapshots. You can copy this URL and mention it here. Okay, this is Maven snapshot. And you have snapshot repository. Sorry, I pasted it wrongly. This is the one. This is the URL. And if you want Maven releases, you can copy releases as well. This is the releases. And ID, you can keep it as Nexus for both. Okay, ID I kept it as Nexus. And here you can mention it as Maven releases. Maven releases. And another one is Maven snapshot. Okay, Maven release and Maven snapshot. This is the distribution management tag. Copy this distribution management tag and add it in the pom.xml. I'm adding it here. This is the first thing which we need to do. We need to add the distribution management tag. Save this. And next, we need to mention the credentials. We need to set the credentials. For that, identify where is your settings.xml. I'm just searching here. I'm looking for settings.xml. This is my settings.xml. And just open this file and add the credentials in the settings.xml. In the servers tab, right? We just need to go for servers tab. In the servers tab, just add this tag. Okay, our server ID should match with the distribution management ID. There I kept Nexus. Here also you should keep Nexus. This is Nexus. And username is admin. I kept username as admin. Password is admin123. Admin123. Just save this. Next, this is done. We have finished two steps. First is we have given the repository location. Second is we have set the credentials. Third is we need to do MVN deploy. We'll just do MVN deploy now. Just do MVN deploy. Now MVN deploy is success. You can go to Nexus and see in the snapshot, or where it went to snapshots. You can go to snapshots. You can click on this box and you can click on assets, and in the assets you have Maven snapshots. Click on Maven snapshots. You have your project here. This is the jar file which we deployed now. Next. This is very important question. This is a common question where everyone is asking. I have done all the 3 steps practically. Next question. What is the difference between snapshot and release in Maven? As I just added before, release is nothing but the final build for a version which does not change. Whenever you are planning a production, you will use the release version, and that release version will never change. Snapshot is nothing but a build which can be replaced by another build which has the same name. Basically, snapshot is nothing but whenever the code is in development stage, it will be a snapshot one, right? It will be continuously changing, and that is why it is called snapshot. Snapshot is a build which can be replaced by another build which has the same name. And one more thing, release is the final build for a version which does not change. Then how will we differentiate? Whenever we do MVN deploy, how it will go to release repository or snapshot repository? It depends on the version, right? We can see the version. We can see the version in the project version. If it is mentioned as snapshot, it will go to snapshot. If it is mentioned as release, it will go to release. If we open vi pom.xml, in our case, the version is 0.1 snapshot. If at all we want to do release on some date, right? If we want to do a release on some date, we can say 2020.08.23. This is my version. As this version does not have any snapshot reference, it will go and gets uploaded in the release repository. Just save this and just do MVN deploy. It will go and upload in release repository. Now if you see this, it went to releases. If you can observe here, you can click on assets. You can click on Maven releases, and in Maven release you have this. Why previous build went to snapshot and why this went to release? Because in previous we mentioned the snapshot version is snapshot, that's why it went to snapshot repository. In this case we didn't mention anything which doesn't start with snapshot will go to release repository. This is that one, right? This is also common interview question. Most people will ask this question very frequently, and one thing we just need to keep in mind, release is the final build for a version which does not change. Whenever you are doing any production releases, we'll stick on to the same release number. Snapshot is a build which can be replaced by another build which has the same name. Basically, when developers are doing development, they will do a lot of code changes daily, and they'll keep the version as snapshot. At any point of time, they will use the snapshot repository. That previous build will be replaced with another build. Okay. Next thing. What are the plugins you used in your Maven project? This is also one of the common question. People will ask, what are the plugins which you used in your Maven project? I have come up with 4 different plugins. The first plugin is Maven jar plugin, and another plugin is Maven assembly plugin and Maven deploy plugin. Maven deploy plugin, we already seen how to use it with Nexus or JFrog. Let me explain Maven jar plugin and Maven assembly plugin. Maven jar plugin, what it does is, Maven jar plugin simply creates a jar file with all the source files and packed in it. However, a jar itself cannot be deployed as it generally has dependencies on third-party jar files. Let me show you this. If you see this project, cd src main Java, I have a sample Java class under C com Cloud Tech Masters. This is my sample Java class. Whenever I run the jar file, the expectation is it should give me hello world, right? Let us come back and see whether it works or not. Just go to target directory, and wherever you have jar file, just run java-jar your jar file. I'm running snapshot. Now it is saying no main manifest attribute found. That means whenever you simply run a jar file, it won't have any manifest file and it doesn't know which jar file it has to run. In this case, I can use Maven jar plugin. Let me add Maven jar plugin. Maven jar plugin main class. I can add Maven jar plugin. You can open any link and simply copy the Maven jar plugin. These plugins should be in the build tag. Okay, these plugins should be in the build tag. Go to pom.xml, vi pom.xml, and in the end, all the plugins should be under build tag. This is also very, very important question. You can paste it in the build tag. And main class, we need to change according to our package. In my case, the package name is company.com.cloudtechmasters. Cloud Tech Masters. This is my package.app is the class. Now run this. Now do mvn clean install and now run the jar file, it will work. Just do mvn clean install now. Now go to target directory. Now you can say java-jar your jar file. This is your jar file. Now see, you are able to get hello world. That means Maven jar plugin, what it is doing, Maven jar plugin simply creates a jar file with all the source files, .class files compiled from .java packed in it. However, a jar itself cannot be deployed as it generally has dependencies on third-party jar files. Let's say if you have multiple jar files, right, and if you have multiple classes, you cannot use Maven jar plugin. Let me create one more class and show you what issue we'll get. Go into src main Java com Cloud Tech Masters. Here I have a file app.java. Copy app.java and say app2.java. In app2.java, you can go and edit. I can say hello world for. I'll explain this plugin for Maven assembly plugin. I'll just say this is app2 class. This is app2 class. I'll just say hello world 2 or hello world from app2 class, just to differentiate, right? I want to run both the classes. I will say app2 class. Now we will see whether MVN jar plugin will help us or not. With this, we can't run individual Java classes, right? Because I have two class, app.jar, app.to Java. When I say MVN clean install, I'll get the jar file, but I cannot differentiate it and I cannot change every time the main class, right? Even though if I run java-jar in target directory, it will still run the previous class. cd target, and if you want, you can run java-jar, java-project jar. It is still giving hello world. If you want second class output, right, you need to go to pom.xml and you need to change it to app2 here. If at all you want to see the second class response as well, you need to make this as app2. This is the class name. This is app2. Just save this and do MVN clean install. Now go to target and you can run the jar file using java-jar. This is the jar file. And if you see, sorry, I have given a spell mistake in pom.xml. Let me go back. vi pom.xml. I have given wrong names in the end. It came wrongly. It is just app2. It went as app2 to. It is just application to Java class. Basically, I am showing the drawback of Maven jar plugin, and then I'll use Maven assembly plugin. Then I will show you way how to run both the Java classes as well. First, we will see this approach. Go to target and you can mention java-jar, java-project. If you see, we got the response, sorry, we got the output from hello world from application to class. That means if I want to run each and every Java class individually, Maven jar plugin won't support, right? In this case, we need to use Maven assembly plugin. This is where Maven assembly plugin comes into picture. It creates a package of extension of your choice like zip, tar or zz, which is fully deployable package with all the dependencies packed in it. Basically what assembly plugin will do, it will combine jar plugin with other dependencies as well. Okay, let me add Maven assembly plugin. Just add Maven assembly plugin jar with the dependencies. You can just copy from any place, right? The plugin is same. This is the plugin. You can just make the changes in the plugin and you can upload it there. Yeah, we just need only, sorry, let me copy it from main documentation. You can just type main assembly plugin jar with the dependencies, which is also called fat jar. As it is containing all the dependencies, this will also be called as fat jar. This is the plugin. This is the plugin. Let me copy the plugin and go to pom.xml. You can just go to XML and add this plugin as well along with Maven jar plugin. If you have only single Java class, you can go ahead with Maven jar plugin. If you have multiple Java classes, you need to use, and if you want to run each of the Java class individually, you need to use Maven assembly plugin. Here, add the plugin, and in this plugin, so you change main class. Here, manifest main class. This is my package. That's it. You can give one class, that's enough. Now we can do mvn clean install. We can do mvn clean install. It takes some time to package all the dependencies. This is done. Go to target directory. Go to target directory. You have a dependencies with jar. You need to use this. You should not use this. If at all you want to run individual Java classes, you need to use this jar. Java-cp class path. In the class path, I am adding this jar. And whatever the class you want to run, just mention that with package name. com.cloudtechmasters.app. I want to run first class. This is app class. Now, if I want to run another class, app2. This is second class. Perfect. It is working, right? For these use cases, we will use Maven assembly plugin. Okay. Maven jar plugin, Maven assembly plugin, Maven deploy plugin is for next. And then we have Spring Boot Maven plugin, which is used for Spring Boot application. You can use Spring Boot Maven plugin as well. If you see in IntelliJ, I have a Spring Boot project. If you observe, I have Spring Boot Maven as well. With Spring Boot Maven plugin, what you can do is, I'll show how can we use this Spring Boot Maven plugin. You can directly run your main project using Spring Boot Maven plugin by using one command. I'll show you that command now. We have the command here. What we can do is, when you add Spring Boot Maven plugin, you can simply use mvn spring-boot run. You don't want to do mvn clean install and then run the jar file. Directly you can use mvn spring-boot run. It will start Spring Boot applications. See, it is running your Spring Boot application. It is starting your Spring Boot application. And my Spring Boot application is running on a port number. This port. This is the port where the application is running. That also will be displayed here. This is the port number. Tomcat started on port numbers. These are the 4 plugins which so many people will ask in the interview, or they can use in the project directly. Maven jar plugin, Maven assembly plugin, Maven deploy plugin, and Spring Boot Maven plugin. Basically, Spring Boot Maven plugin will provide support for Spring Boot in Apache Maven. It will allow you to package your application as an executable jar file, and you can run that jar file directly. Okay. Yeah. Thanks everyone for watching this video.